Wow, it's time for another show full of tips and ideas from the sales growth leadership expert, Dean Akers. Known for his experience in hyper-growing companies and creating cultures for high-performance teams, here's Dean.
Well, welcome to today's show, the Sales and Leadership Ninjas Show. I'm your head ninja, Dean Akers, and thanks for tuning in today for our weekly rant. Today's going to be kind of fun as I share with y'all. Every week is stuff I learn and stuff that happens to me while we're working together. And so this week was a good week. And I had a lot of questions. And again, people reach me at help@adjunctceo.com. That's help@adjunctceo.com. And feel free to send me questions. If a lot of y'all out there are doing that, and I think it's helping, at least that's the feedback I'm getting. So just feel free to reach out to help@adjunctceo.com to send me questions or thoughts you might have that could help you. Again, we're always dedicated about doing the small things that make a difference. So today is kind of a fun show for me. I was with some of my ninjas this past week, and we were talking about time, and they, how do you track all the time? And I know we've done the 10-minute timer in the past, and we've talked about those things in previous shows. But I want to share with you one of the fun things that we talk about, and when we're doing a kind of a what if, or exactly what does it mean. And the program I always share is the two gentlemen sitting in the jungle in a clearing, and they're both having a picnic, and out jumps a huge Bengal tiger. And the one reaches out and starts lacing his shoes up. And the other one looks at him and goes, "What are you doing? You can't outrun a Bengal tiger." And he looks at the other guy and says, "Don't have to. I just have to outrun you." So that's kind of the premise of today's show. A lot of my folks I work with all around the country and people that reach in, they go, "How do I have enough time? How do I make this happen?" And I think the big thing is it's not about these massive changes. I have people that are OCD, have to do everything. And it's about the small incremental changes that makes a difference. It's about you being that split hair faster than the other person so that the tiger tackles them and doesn't tackle you. And it's really about those small things. One of the big challenges that people have is making excuses. And we had a ninja meeting here I have a group that comes in every Tuesdays, and we sit around and talk, and we were laughing about one of the tools that I've been using the last 30 plus years in helping my ninjas get past that. And we have it in our office, and I'm going to show it to you. And it's called an excuse box. That's right, you heard me, it's an excuse box. And that excuse box is pretty funny because it's a card shoe. And years ago, you can see it's kind of old. I've had it for a long time. But years and years ago, we started this. And what we did is we bought blank cards, their bicycle cards or whatever. And then our teams write their favorite excuse. So anytime somebody, and by the way, if you're a CEO or a sales manager out there, this is great for your meetings. Go online, buy yourself one of these card shoes. They're available right online, and call it your excuse box. We leave it. Anybody can call it on anybody in any of our meetings. So when somebody starts making an excuse, we go, "Whoop, time out. Get the excuse box. Draw an excuse out of the excuse box. It's about as good as the one you're going to give. And this way we can stay on track with solutions." So let's pretend I have an excuse and somebody goes, "Draw the excuse box." So then I reach down and let's see what was in the shoe. Here was what was in the shoe. My mom had to go to the dentist. That was as good as the one you were going to get. Let's go to the next one. My visor broke. Again, are these stupid? Absolutely. Do they matter? Absolutely. Because they create fun out of these excuses people always make. So if you don't have an excuse box, I really recommend one for you. So that's really important in the whole process. Then the other thing is that, so now you just, if the tiger, if he jumps into the clearing and you just have to outrun the other person, what are some of the techniques? Well, one of the things that's come about, especially with a lot of my ninjas around the country, they'll ask me, Dean, how do I beat the pricing challenge? And I go, well, first off, if you're doing the things we've been talking about, you're writing your handwritten notes, you're doing all your touches and stuff, this is one of the most, well, not one of, this is the most powerful question that I have ever used in my sales techniques that really has made a difference. And when a customer's talk about it and they get into that whole price mode, I'll ask this question. So we've gone through everything and they're going, this, that, and this, and that, and this, and that. And I say, can I ask you a question? And they'll go, well, certainly. And I go, if today prices were legislated to all be identical, would I be your choice? Would our company be your choice? And I shut up. What's the operative word here? Shut up. I don't go, what do you think, or whatever. I just shut up, and I stay shut up till they answer. And I've shared with some of you that have been working with me for years, I literally will click my finger to myself or my toe in my shoe 10 seconds. And 10 seconds is an eternity. They always talk. And in this case, you've asked them a closed-end question, and they will go yes or no. We actually had this with one of our groups recently. They asked that, and they actually said no, and they said the reasons. Those reasons were compelling, and they were actually, now we knew what probably precipitated some of the other deals we've lost, even though we had confidence that that could never, ever happen. And the reality is it probably happened more than we thought. So now it allows us to go back and reassess, how do we position ourselves so when if all the prices were the same, would you choose us? And they go, no. And we go, now the opening question is, why would, and they go, blah, 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 blah. You're not getting the deal. You're not getting the deal. So you don't need to puke all over them and go, well, but you don't understand. We do this, we can do this. You want to ask those open-ended questions. And if they say no, then you can say you should use the other team. And if you need a complimentary bid. But know that I will do everything now to make sure that happens if we ever get a shot again. I've had 70% of the customers go, Dean, we're good. If we would use you, now that you understand, can you do that? So you can close them that way. But the message here is ask that question, if all the prices were the same, would you use us? Then somebody asked me, well, how do I know? Now I'm going to tell you something. I use this iPhone, and when people are in a funk, my ninjas will simply go to here, and they'll go to this iPhone app, and it's like a recorder. And what they'll do is they'll just, should be coming up, maybe it won't, but so it comes up and it says, I'll just hit it. So now it looks just like a recorder, and they'll hit record and set it in their pocket or put it in their coat. And then while they're talking and stuff, we go back and we listen to it. And 100% of the time, they see the train wreck before the crash site. So today, we're talking about, again, sitting in the jungle, in a clearing, having a picnic with a friend, and out jumps a huge Bengal tiger. And you start lacing your shoes up. The other person looks at you and go, what are you doing? You can't outrun a Bengal tiger. And that's when you look at them and say, I don't have to outrun the Bengal tiger. All I got to do is outrun you. So, takeaways today, get rid of excuses. Get an excuse box. Learn to ask the question, if all the prices were the same, would you use me? Learn to maximize your time in the 8 hours. Make sure you're not making excuses you don't have enough time, and then when you start looking at what you're doing, you're just wasting time. And then record. When you're in a funk, record your calls. Record your face-to-faces, and then listen back to them. And you're going to see the train wreck before the crash site. So again, sitting in the clearing. out jumps a huge Bengal tiger. You start lacing your shoes up. Your buddy looks at you and says, Dean, you can't outrun a Bengal tiger. And that's when you say to them, I don't have to. I just have to outrun you. Have a great week. See you next Saturday.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Subscribe today to our podcast and send questions or thoughts to help@deanakers.com. Also, visit us at www.deanakers.com to listen to prior shows and view helpful videos. Also, great tips to download. Thanks again. See you next week.